that you're here today. Okay, let's go ahead and do our welcome song. Okay, everybody stand up, nice and tall, sing out nice and loud. Ready? Oh, rise and shine and welcome to Lab Today. Rise and shine and welcome to Lab Today. Rise and shine and welcome to Lab Today. We're so glad you're here. Oh, rise and shine and welcome to Lab Today. Rise and shine and welcome to Lab Today. Rise and shine and welcome to Lab Today. We're so glad you're here. Okay, our second day of space today. So do you remember what we learned last time, our first day of space? What do we think of when we think of space? Do you think of when you look out at the night sky and there's all the stars and the blackness? Do you remember how it's that space in between all of the stars and the planets is called deep space? And all of space is, I think that what I think of is the universe. That's everything. It's all of the galaxies, all of the different solar systems, all of the different planets that exist, that are out there. It's everything. So that's when I think about space. So we learned about our galaxy. Do you remember what our galaxy is called that we live in? The Milky Way galaxy. Can you say that? Say the Milky Way galaxy. So that is where our solar system is and our planet is inside of our solar system. And do you remember what our planet is called? Can you say Earth? We live on Earth. That's our planet. So here you can see this is our solar system and here is Earth right here. So it's pretty tiny in all of space, isn't it? It's pretty small. There's a lot out there that we don't know about. How did the scientists find out so much? What did they use? What is that big, long thing they look through? Everybody say telescope. Telescope. So the telescopes have gotten so good. The Hubble telescope that NASA has is amazing, and that's how we've gotten so many of the cool pictures that we have. Do you remember the cool pictures of the nebula last time? What is a nebula? Do you remember that that's where stars are born? So it's that big, huge cloud of dust and fire, and that is called a nebula, and that's where stars are born. Now, today, we're actually talking about stars. Do you remember the story about how the Milky Way was created? So the Milky Way, do you remember the Cherokee legend? We know that it's pretend because it's a legend and that it has things in it that couldn't really happen. So do you remember who stole the cornmeal? Who was the thief in the story? The big spirit dog, right? And he swooped down in and he started eating. And what did the villagers do to try to make him get scared so he would never come back? They got all of their noisemakers and their drums and their pots and their pans and their sticks, and they hid, and then they scared him and made it so loud, and they chased him, and he ran off up the hill and into the sky. And what came out of his mouth and sprinkled out of his mouth as he was running across the sky? The cornmeal, and the cornmeal turned into stars. And those stars are our Milky Way, right? Now, that didn't really happen, but that's a very cool story. It's a very fun legend about how that could have happened. And we live in, do you remember the name of the galaxy? The Milky Way. Okay, good job. Today we're going to learn about stars. And stars are awesome. Do you remember Do they actually look like this? Are they flat with little points on them? Like this, or like this? Is that what they really look like up in the sky? No, they don't actually. Actually, they are a huge big ball of glowing gas. That's what they are. And that big ball, that shape, is actually called a sphere. Can you say sphere? That's one of our new words today. So this is a sphere. It's a ball shape. So everybody say sphere. So anything that is all the way, like a basketball is shaped like a sphere too. Anything that is totally round like this. Now this is more like a circle. It's flat, it's not round, right? So here's a sphere, and here's a circle. And here is a star shape, but that's not really what they look like out in the sky, huh? They really look like this, but it's a big ball of glowing gas, right? Okay, also, when we think of stars, we look up at the night sky, and there are those little dots of yellow, right? They're tiny, and they're just, all of them are yellow, but if we got up there really, really, really close to them, we would see that some aren't yellow. Stars can be different colors. They can be red, they can be blue, they can be yellow. And since they're big balls of glowing gas, if it's a red one or a yellow one, which one do you think would be hotter? The red one or the yellow one? We think of red as being hot, fiery hot, but the yellow one is actually hotter. The yellow stars are hotter. And there's a color that's even hotter than the yellow one. The blue ones are the hottest. Everybody say, the blue stars are the hottest. The blue stars are the hottest. So, we know that there can be different colors, but the blue ones are the hottest. So when you go outside and you look up at the night sky again, they are super tiny too. So they look yellow, and we know they can be different colors, but they're so tiny. Why do they look so tiny? Because they're actually so far away. They're hundreds and hundreds of miles away. So that's why they look so tiny. So those tiny dots, they make little patterns. They can make little pictures. So the stars that make pictures we call constellations. Can you say a constellation? Constellation. A constellation is a little group of stars that makes a picture. Now through the years, people have come up with more stories about these pictures, the constellations. So for hundreds of years, people have looked up at the sky and we've all seen the same stars. And they've studied them and they've seen how some might look like a picture. And then they come up with stories about why it's this picture. So I'm going to tell you one more story. This is a story about the Big Dipper. The Big Dipper is one of the famous constellations that we can see a lot of times. It's really one of the few that I can pick out that I always know how to find. I love that one. This is what it looks like. You guys are going to have this coloring page later, and this is the Big Dipper. Well, the story goes that there were these villagers. Okay, so this is a story that the Cherokee would tell to their children in the wintertime. And it was about a Mohawk tribe. And there was this time that this Mohawk tribe was going hungry. because all of the game is wild animals, so they would go out and hunt their wild animals for food, but there wasn't any to find because there was this giant bear that would come and eat it all. So they were hungry, and they were getting hungrier and hungrier, and finally they said, we've got to do something because we don't have anything to eat. And so they got their hunting party, they got a whole bunch of people together, all these warriors, and they went to go hunt the big giant bear. And they all got there, and all at once they all shot their arrows, but to their surprise, the arrows bounced off of the bear's really, really, really thick skin. And that was a problem. The bear turned around and attacked all of them. And he destroyed that hunting party. Everybody died except for 2 hunters, 2 warriors, and they made it back to their village to tell their story. Well, they kept being hungry because that bear was out there, this giant bear eating all of their food. And so they decided they had to do something. So they kept gathering these hunting parties to go after the bear. But the bear just kept destroying the hunting parties. And days passed and weeks passed and months passed, and they were getting ready to starve. And this one night there were 3 brothers that were sleeping, and they all had the same dream. And the dream was that they were hunting the big giant bear, and that they were successful, that they found him, and that they were able to get rid of the bear. And they all woke up and realized that they had all had the same dream, and they thought, that means that we need to go. That means that we're going to win. So they went together, everyone saw them off, and watched them go off to hunt the bear. And the story goes that the hunters, the 3 brothers, followed that bear. They found the bear and they followed him to the edge of the earth. And then the bear jumped off the edge of the earth and into the heavens. And the 3 brothers also jumped off the earth and into the heavens and are still hunting that giant bear today. And so now you can look up at the Big Dipper and you can see this giant bear, and you can see the 3 hunters still following him across the heavens, across the sky. Cool, huh? So you can think of that story when you see the Big Dipper. There are other really cool, famous constellations in the sky, lots and lots of them that you can study. And there are cool apps that you can get that you hold them up and it shows you what constellation you're aiming at. And it's super cool because it'll just tell you and show you, because sometimes it's really hard to see because you know how tiny those stars are to our eyes. And so that would be fun. It's a fun idea if your parents wanted to get one of those apps to try out for a little bit. But that's about the Big Dipper. There's also the North Star is a really important star. It's one that people have followed for centuries. That means hundreds and hundreds of years. They've followed that star to find direction. And that star is in with the Little Dipper, the very end of the Little Dipper. And so people look and find that one. There's also another famous one that's pretty easy to see that is called Orion. And that one is based on Greek mythology. That one's a story from the Greeks. And but you can look up and see if you can see the hunter. You can see his shield, and you can see his other arm up. And that's Orion. Okay, now we are going to do a song, and it's Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and you know this song, except for there's a few words that are changed, okay? See if you can tell which words are changed. Are you ready? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, I know what you really are. Giant ball of glowing gas, one of billions in a mass. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Oh, how big you really are. Twinkle, twinkle, giant star, larger than the earth by far. Though your distance is a lot, you look like a tiny dot. Twinkle, twinkle, giant star, very bright and very far. Okay, so aren't those big stars, aren't they actually just huge? They're bigger than Earth, aren't they? They're huge. So that's a fun song that we'll practice again tomorrow. Okay, let's go ahead and count with me. See if you can get your teens right on. Make sure that you're saying them right. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Good. And then our numbers, here you go. I want you to see if you can tell them, say them before I get to them, okay? Say them before me. See if you can beat me. Are you ready? 6. Did you beat me on that one? That one's probably our hardest one. 3, 4, 1. You beat me. 5, 2, and back to 6. Good job. Okay, now look, if I had this many stars, how many are this many? Let's count. 1, 2, 3. If you said 3, pat yourself on the back. What if I added 2 more stars? How many stars do we have now? You can touch the TV screen, or you can think in your mind to count them up. How many stars are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did you say 5? That's right. So that is 5. 5 stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, what about if I take 1 away? How many stars now? How many stars? Count them up in your head or touch the screen. Oh, are you getting it? How many did you think? If you said 4, then you were right. Good job. Pat yourself on the back. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 stars. Good job. Okay, now we have a new letter today because we were studying stars. And what does stars start with? We have our What are some things that start with the sound? We talked about 1. Everybody say stars. Stars. What about snake? What about sun? What about silly? Do you remember the sign language way we had of doing silly? Silly, right? Silly. What about sad? Sad. What about sick, sick. How did we do our sign language for that? Remember, it was our feelings, but we touch our forehead and our tummy. Sick, sick. What about when we go outside to play in the sandbox? Sandbox. So lots of great words. This is what it looks like. Now let's talk about how to write it. You will have this paper to practice today, and we're going to do it up here. So I'm going to kind of show you, they're showing you here on this paper, and I'm going to show you up here on this board. We start with, here's our red line, our yellow line, this is our red, green, yellow, and we start at 2 on the clock. So if it was a circle, like on our letter parts, we start here at the red dot, okay? And since the first one is a capital, we pretend like it's the whole big circle instead of a small circle. So here's 2 on the clock, on our pretend clock. It would be kind of like here, that we start and we go up and around and down and around. Oh my goodness. I went a little bit under the red line, so I'm just going to erase it a little bit. Erase it. And fix it. I'm not going to get frustrated. I'm not going to get frustrated that it wasn't perfect. It's okay. And if I am getting frustrated, I can just think, stop, take a deep breath, and relax. Remember, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. The letters are some of the hardest ones. So don't say, I can't do this. Just say, I think I can, I think I can. And if it's not perfect, it's okay. It's okay. We're gonna go again. Here's our little pretend circle for our letter parts, and here's our 2 on the clock, and we go up and around, down and around. That's it, and it'll show you again on your paper. And then when you have it, you're gonna get your pencil and use your tapper fingers, and then you're gonna go up and around, down and around, up and around, down and around, and follow, trace, 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 trace. Now you get to do it by yourself. Try, 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 try. Did I say perfect, perfect, perfect? No, no, it's do our best. Try our best. We just traced it. Now we just try our best. Try, try, try. And we do the same thing down here. It's awesome. And the way you keep going with these, and it gets easier and easier and easier. It's awesome. Okay. Okay, so let's think about, last time we had our t sound. What are some things that start with t? Turtle, tomato, toss, top, Tonka, truck. So lots of t sounds, and we have our s sound. So now you have 2 in your golden sounds. Okay, so look at mine and say them with me. Here we go. We're gonna start our little rhyme that we do with our golden sounds, since now we have 2 sounds. Ready? Higgledy, piggledy, bumblebee. Can you say the sound with me? T, 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 t. Okay, and if I touch and I trace the air, if you can do it in the air following me, then that helps your fingers send a message to your brain about what a t sound makes. And also when your lips do it and say t, 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 then that sends a message to your brain about what a t is too. So if you do it with both things, so then we'll do our next one, okay? We just did our t. Higgledy bumblebee. Can you say the sound with me? So that's it. We have 2. And then you'll practice this one time with your mom or your dad today. And you'll do your little writing page. And you have this coloring page you can do if you would like to, that has the stars on it and the constellation of the Big Dipper. And then we also have a rhyming page, and we have our circling the things that start with a s sound, okay? So exciting, 2 sounds already. Everybody say, I work hard, I work hard. I am awesome. I am awesome. See you next time.